How to create a website on Shopify. So in this video, I'll be guiding you with the steps you need to take to start a website on Shopify. So let's start. So one of the first things you're gonna need to do, of course, is have a Shopify account. Now, don't worry if you don't have one. You can actually click the link in the description below to get a deal where you'll be able to use Shopify for free for 3 days. And then after that, you'll be able to Shopify for $1 for the next 3 months. So $1 for each of those 3 months, right? So you don't have to enter your credit card right now, but if you do, right, it'll just be easier. You'll be able to continue using Shopify for $1 a month for those 3 months. So let's go ahead and skip this. All right, so for the onboarding, you can actually skip this. You don't need to do this, right? It will change some small things, but honestly, it doesn't make a big difference. So I'll do this later. All right, so so now you have officially started your Shopify store, which is huge, right? So it looks like they have changed only the dashboard, which looks a little bit different, more AI look, like the ChatGPT form, which of course Shopify is pushing a lot. All right, so let's guide you through your new internal dashboard, which you'll be using a lot. All right, so on the left here, you have your menu items of the different pages and tabs you'll be using throughout your journey on Shopify, right? So one of the first things is you have your orders page. So your orders page, pretty simple, right? Here is where you'll be able to locate any orders that your customers place from your store. The drafts is a very simple page that allows you to create custom orders. Sometimes customers maybe want a custom order, right? So you'll be able to come in here and create those custom orders. And then we have the products page. So the products page is where you'll be able to add any products, right, that you have to sell, or import any products as well. And then from here is your customers, right? So here's where you'll be able to find any of your customers' data information, right, when they buy stuff from you or when you need to add a customer as well to your store. And then we have marketing and discount, pretty self-explanatory there. Your content, right, is where you'll be able to upload files, right, customize the menus of how they look, right, and also add blog posts for your Shopify store if you decide to go that way as well. And then we have our market page. So the markets page is pretty much where you'll be able to control where you want to sell in the world, right? So right now, since I'm in Canada, right, I only have it set up right by default that only Canadian customers are able to buy from my store, right? If I want to have United States customers, right, which many of you will probably want to have that set up, right, since the United States is a huge market, then you could just go ahead and just select create United States market, right, and just make sure you have everything set up correctly here, right, and then just click save. And now if a customer from the United States, right, locates my store, they will be able to successfully check out throughout my store. And then we have the finance page, which is pretty self-explanatory as well, right? We have payouts, right? Here's where you'll be able to track your payouts of when Shopify will send them to your bank account as well. And then we have analytics to find a lot more data about your store. All right, so we'll go through these other channels throughout the video. So one of the first things you're going to need to do, of course, after you create your store is go to products. So here you're going to want to add your very first product. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So you want to go ahead and select add product. So now that we have selected add product, right, you'll arrive to this page will allow you to customize any information you need to add for your product, right? So for this one, we're going to just add men's t-shirt black, right? You just want to make sure you actually add a little bit more description, right? So men's t-shirt black, right, is good. You don't want to just write t-shirt, right? This is for future SEO cases, right? So you want to just make sure you do it correctly, right? You want to do like men's cotton t-shirt, maybe even, right? Sure. Okay, and then we're going to add a description. For this, I just like using Sidekick to help, right, just to get you started. And then if you want, you can actually just customize it to fit your brand, right? Now we're going to upload a photo. So let's go ahead and find one. And we'll go to products. Boom. Now we have it. So we have our t-shirt now. So let's go ahead and continue adding the price to it. So we're gonna just make this into a high-end t-shirt. And you have more options right here that you can add to the what you want to show for additional prices. So for this, we're gonna add to compare the price. We're gonna say it was like 50 bucks before. So when somebody sees it, it's gonna have the $50 crossed out, right? And then from here, we're gonna just keep going to inventory lookout, tracked, right? We're gonna want to set up properly. We're gonna have maybe 20, right? And then you want to make sure your shipping is set up correctly, right? You don't want to have the customer charge the incorrect shipping cost. There was a case once when I used to work at Shopify, where a Shopify merchant, when they were doing a test, their customers noticed that that hat cost for the shipping was gonna be more expensive, right? It's gonna be like $30, and a hat is so light, right? Like, and it's the package was small, so it didn't make sense, and it was because they didn't have this correct shipping package set up. And so now here we have variants. So since I'm selling a t-shirt, right, you might not need to do this for your own products, right? It depends on the product. So for this, I will want to add a size, right? Since I am selling different sizes. So let's go ahead and add those sizes. And then since it's only a black t-shirt, I don't need to add color, right? I don't really need to add care instructions, anything like that, right? I just want to keep it really simple and easy. Then from here, I would update this availability, right? So maybe it's like 5 here, 5 here, and 20, right? In total, 20, right? So I have 5 of each, right? And from here, you can just leave this as is. You don't really need to customize this too much. And you just want to confirm that the SEO listing is set up perfectly for Google to be able to locate these products when people are searching maybe for men's cotton black t-shirt, right? It doesn't make sense like that. Men's. There we go. And so now that we have everything set up, right, you just want to make sure that you publish to the right channels. So you can do this by clicking this icon. And then here we can see it's turned on for online store, point of sale, and shop. Let's go ahead and turn these two off, and I only want it, let's say, for the online store. That's it. Then click done. Right, and then if you could add other product information, right, like type, vendor, if you have a vendor, right, tags. This will just help you when you're filtering for your products and doing, like, you know, review of your store. So we click save, and you just added your very first product to your Shopify store. And there we go. So now that it's added, one of the next things we're gonna need to do now is go to our online store and set up the store, right? So let's go ahead and select online store on the left right here. So once you select online store, you'll arrive to the themes page, which I like to call it. So here is where you'll be able to locate every theme that Shopify has for you, right? So here by default, you have the Horizon theme, which Shopify provides by default, right? If you don't like it and you want to use a different theme, you're in luck. You can use the theme store, which if you click right here, it will open up this page, and here you'll be able to locate a lot more themes, free and paid ones. So if you're just starting out, maybe a free theme by just checking out might be the route for you, right? And there's a ton of great free themes that you can choose from, right? So, and what I like about this is that you can actually preview them. So let's take an example like this one, right? You could go ahead and view demo. So this will allow you to look and just test without having to, like, even just try it out without having to buy anything, right? So if you click, you could just see how it's going to look for your own page, right? So let's go ahead and just, I'm going to use this theme as the one I wanted to go with. So we go ahead and just click try theme. And now it's officially adding it to my online store. So now that it's in my online store, right, I can go ahead and just see it will be under draft themes, right? So before draft themes was in here, but now that I have another theme, it officially created one, right? So now, something you'll want to know, right? Anything that you edit in draft themes will not affect your main store. So let's say you already created a store, right? And you like it, you don't need to worry about it. Anything in draft themes you can make and change without affecting the main store. Now, if you click publish, right? So if I click publish right now, I just made Spotlight the main theme. So now this is what customers will see once I remove the password, and I can edit anything in Horizon, right? And so that's just something to remember as well. So now that we've added some custom, we added another theme, right? Let's go ahead and edit the theme to our store liking. So you want to go ahead and click edit theme. And so since my Spotlight theme is a lot more minimalistic, right? There's not a lot of changes I'm going to want to do. But let's say I want to make some changes, right? So let's start with the header. You could go ahead and select header by just clicking. And once you select the section that you want to edit, on the right side, you'll be able to see a lot more customizations for you as well. Right, so let's go ahead and select maybe the different menu type, right? So maybe I want it to be a drawer, right? So I have a drop down, right? And then we're gonna go ahead and select the menu, the main menu, right? So as you can see here now, we have the drawer, right? So it looks minimalistic, right? I can go ahead and see how it will look on the other ones, right? But I really like the drawer, so we're gonna keep that as well. And then you can add a separate line if you want. But this, of course, all depends on the theme. You might not have this option, right? Again, different themes sometimes comes with different features, right? Then I want to maybe change the logo position from middle left to middle center, right? So now I know that if I add a custom logo, it will show up right here. And then the color schema, right? I could change it. So let's say I actually want it to be, edit this, and I want the buttons to be different. I can just go ahead and click it and change it around. I want it to be green. And so if we click save, right, and all the button solid backgrounds are gonna be green. So let's go ahead and check that out. And there it is. There, I changed the color, right? So now if I click the product information, again, I'll have the product information tab here open, right? And I can go ahead and play around with it to find what works for me, right? Sticky content, right? So if I turn this off, right, it will automatically scroll. So let's just leave that on. I can customize for the mobile layout as well. And so it's very simple, easy just to play around with, right? And then of course, you could go ahead and review how it's going to look on mobile as well, right? So that's actually really important, right? Because you do want to know how this will look on mobile. But let's say I want to edit some other changes, like let's go back to our home page. So let's go ahead and maybe we want to add a section. You can go ahead and just select add section. You can either tell Sidekick what you want to create, or you can see one of the templates already here that you can use, right? Maybe you want to have people subscribe to your email, right? So we can just go ahead and add that, and there we go. And we could just make some changes by clicking the email sign up, right? And then just customizing it. Maybe we don't want it full width, and add custom previews here, which will open the settings page. Oh, the help article, which we don't want. All right, so now that we're happy, we could go ahead and click save. This will just make some change. This will just make sure that the changes are saved. So we could go ahead and click exit now. All right, so now as you can see, we made the changes, right? And remember when we added the product, right, the $50 is scratched out. So now it's only showing $30 because it's on sale, right? Now the next thing is you want to add pages to your store. So you can go ahead and select pages under online store. Here you'll be able to create custom pages. For example, when you click add page, right, you'll be able to add an about us page, frequently asked questions pages, size charts, right? These are all very important to have because you want to provide as much information to your customers about your store, right? And once you create a page, right, you just want to make sure that it's set to visible so that you can find it in the main menu when you need to add it to the main menu of your store. And we could just go ahead and click save. And then we have the preferences. Preferences, pretty simple. Here's where you're able to customize some small things about your store, right? So first off, if you want to customize the password, right, for your ready to go, right, you could do that as well, right? And then we have the homepage title they could change, the meta description of the store, of how it's going to look like when you're sharing it, let's say on Instagram or on X. And then we have some more information right here that you might want to turn on or off depending on your preferences as well. So once you have that, right, one of the few things that you're gonna need to do, right, is you can review the agentic. Since I'm in Canada, this is not really going to be working for me yet, right? I mean, I could review it, the policies, right? But you know, it's not available for me. But for some users, it might be available for you, depending on the market. I think it's only for the US right now. So before you could go live, right, you need to accept payments, right? That's the whole point of creating a Shopify store, right, is to accept payments. So we're gonna do that right now. Is go ahead, go to settings, and then you want to select payments. Once you select payments, you'll see Shopify payments if you're in a market that supports Shopify payments. If you don't, if you're not in a market that supports Shopify payments, you can use other third-party other payment gateways for this as well, right? So you will need to set up Shopify payments if it's supported in your country, and it's actually really easier because you'll be able to track it, and it'll just be really easy to manage a lot of things for your store. And then we have additional payment method. So this allows you to add other ways that customers can buy things from you, right? So for example, you might want to add PayPal, right? So as another option for customers to check out. Now, the only thing is that if there's an issue, let's say with a payment with, like, let's say PayPal, right? Since it is an additional payment method, you will need to reach out to, well, the customers, not you. The customers will need to reach out to PayPal, or yourself if there's an issue with PayPal as well. Then you will need to reach out as well to PayPal. The next thing, after you set up your payments, right? So once you set this up, you'll be able to start accepting payments. Next thing you want to review is your shipping and delivery. Your shipping and delivery rate is very important, and that's because you will want to make sure you have everything set up correctly, so that you're charging the right amount for shipping and the customers are being charged correctly as well. So since I'm in Canada, right, all products not in this profile, new price are added by default. So as you can see, my men's t-shirt is already added, right? So that means customers in Canada can successfully buy my product and it will be charged the correct shipping cost, right? Depending on if this is the one I want to add, right? I can edit the shipping option if I wanted to, but for this video, we're just gonna leave it as is. And as you can see, also my United States customers will be able to purchase from my store as well and be charged the correct shipping amount. But let's say, like here, you'll be able to see that other countries are not able to buy things from my store yet, right? They'll be able to access my store, but when they try to add, let's say, the black t-shirt to cart, it will say out of stock. And this is a common issue. So if a customer reaches you out, you're probably gonna reach out to Shopify support for this, because you're gonna say like, no, my product's in stock, right? And that's because you don't have their markets set up correctly. So you'll need to add the markets for every country that you want to sell in, right? So if you want to sell in Austria, then you will need to add the market for Austria, and then this, you'll be able to update this right here. Next is the domains. So domains, right, you're gonna want to add a domain to make your store look legit, because you don't want customers to look at this domain, right? It's not gonna look really that professional. So you can either add your own domain if you already have one, or you could buy a new domain within Shopify, right? And it makes it really easy, right? You could just search for one. You could just like store, search, right? And Shopify is gonna show you all the domains that it has available with that name for store, right? It's probably not gonna have a lot. So yeah, so here's a lot of the other ones that you could buy, right, from Shopify itself. Now the thing is that Shopify will connect everything for you, so you don't have to worry about it. So once you buy it, you're set up. So that's one of the benefits. Now, if you're looking for something more affordable to buy, then you might want to check out Hostinger. I'll have the link to it in the description below. so you guys can go check it out as well. It's a lot more cheaper than buying it directly from Shopify. You will just need to connect the existing. You will need to connect the DNS, which takes like less than 5 minutes. Like it's really easy, right? And I even have a video about it that you can follow along on how to do that. So that's pretty much it. And now, before you can launch your store, right, you will need to just make sure that you turn off the password for your store, right? You can go ahead and just pick a plan, right, and then edit the password or remove it as well, right? So that's just something that you will need to do before you're live, right? And then just some bonus tips on some apps that I recommend you download before you go is to help you get started. First is Shopify messaging, right? You will need to have this. I'll just open this tab here. So here are a few apps that you might want, and these are free apps, so you don't need to worry about it, right? First off is Shopify Inbox, right? Shopify Inbox is like a little chat window that allows you to add frequently asked questions to common questions that customer might have, right? So like, do you offer free delivery, right? You can add that and it will automatically send an automation to them with like, yes, you do offer like free shipping, right? Or refunds, right? The next one you're gonna want to download is Shopify. These are all free apps. I don't see it here. I don't see it here. I don't see it here. So we're gonna just search for messaging. This one right here, Shopify messaging, right? This is another app that you will want to add because it will help you when you need to send emails to your customers, right? But to make sure you can send automation emails, right? Like let's say you want to send the abandoned checkout email. So like if the customer adds my black t-shirt to cart, they go to checkout, they enter the credit card information, but they don't check out, I'll be able to send them an email by using the Flow app, right? So Shopify Flow, right? So I'll be able to create an automation like to recover abandoned checkout, right? And I will need Shopify messaging and this app to do it together, right? So if it's triggered, it will send an email to them to say like, hey, like I noticed you added the product but you didn't complete checkout. You know, here's the like buy button so they can check out, right? And if they don't continue to check out, right, I have a flow, be like, hey, here's $5 off. If that still doesn't work, he's like, hey, like see what other people are talking about when they bought this product, right? You can send reviews and everything, right? So it's very simple, easy to use these apps, right? These are the like 3 apps I recommend you have at the start. It's just Inbox, Shopify messaging, and the Shopify Flow. And also a bonus one is not a third-party app from Shopify App Store, but is the Quote Inspector. This is a great app. I'll have the link for this in the description below so you guys go check it out. It's to spy on other Shopify apps, right? So maybe you like a Shopify store theme design, you could go ahead and just see what they're doing, right? So like you could go spy on them and see what theme they're using, what apps they're using as well, which is really important and great, right? What products are selling well in their store, because maybe you don't know what to sell yet, and so you want to say, oh, okay, this product is selling well, I want to sell something like that, let's look for that, right? And so you'll be able to do that within the Shopify Spy Dropshipping Quality Inspector app, which I'll have the link in the description below for you. So that's pretty much it on how to start a website on Shopify. If you guys have any questions, right, comment down below and I'll be happy to help. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.